Hello, this is Alexis from BSC Designer. In this video, I want to review one of the recent cases that we had with one of our clients when importing strategy to BSC Designer. And it's quite typical and quite interesting. And here is a simplified version. Let me comment about what we have here so far. So I have here the first column, which is a pillar or perspective. In this case, just one for this example, financial sustainability. Then there is objective, maintain operational continuity during extreme weather disruptions. Perfectly fine. And there are 3 KPIs that quantify this objective: critical system uptime, incident response time, and critical supply coverage. Now, what's the problem or the challenge with this data? Here I have 2 columns with actuals and target for 2027. And first of all, this might be a problem because actual for 2026, it's not clear for me what it means. Is it actual for the end of 2026, implying that these metrics are tracked annually, or it is actual for the current months, implying that these metrics are tracked monthly? And the same question for target 2027. Is it for the end of 2027, for the end of 2026? Not clear, it's not defined here. When talking to clients, it results that this actual is for current months and these metrics are tracked monthly. But to import it into the platform, it's better to mention it somewhere explicitly. Let's look at these values. So this one is numerical value, perfectly fine, easy to import. This one is actually not a numerical value. It's for number plus hours textual value, measurement unit. So it's a mix of value and measurement unit. Might be trickier. And this one is what made the most of the challenge, that instead of having here some number, we have here a kind of threshold that is explained below. Yeah. So this critical supply coverage, it has 3 thresholds. When it's below 7 days, it is considered vulnerable. When it's between 7 and 30 days, it's adequate, and more than 30 days is resilient. So having more supply is better, obviously. So how can we import this into BSC Designer? We cannot use the classical import functions that we have here because of these 2 bad guys. Or we need to pre-process them here somehow, or we need to use AI, and AI is better in this case. So let's try to use AI. I copy paste it here, start chart with AI, and pick this import data from Excel prompt I have. And in the end, I just put my data is, and I paste my data. So let's give AI a chance to work on this. Okay, so that's what was generated by AI. I will just click execute all, and we'll see what it will be. So I have my metrics here, and the problem that, well, I have mentioned in the introduction, that it's not clear where to import this data. I see this problem here, that it was imported for the end of 2026, the actual, and the indicator was set to be updated annually. And I think the same happens for other indicators. Yeah. So without specific prompt, AI recognizes this as annual update. It's easy to fix this. I can just ask AI to update indicators to monthly update, and say that the current value should be for July 2026 and not for the end of the year. But the most interesting thing, let me check here what happened here. Incident response time, it was measured in hours, and I see that it was recognized properly. The current is 4, the target is 1. What's interesting that unit of measure was properly set to hours. And if we look at this metric, what it means, incident response time, it's business context that we want to minimize it, not maximize. We want to respond faster. Let's see if this was applied. Yeah, this was applied as well. So this minimization was set to minimize vocabulary. And for example, critical system uptime, it's maximization. So this one, was it imported? I don't see any data imported for this. Yeah, so what AI did like kind of patch for this. It applied, it just copied the thresholds in the description, implying that all this complexity should be managed by me as a user. It's not a good thing. So let's insist. And ask AI to apply specific values, numeric values. Okay, insisting doesn't mean that it will accept it, but let's see what will be the response. Okay, so yeah, so basically it explains the problem that it need to do it. Yes, do it. And the mapping probably was not correct, but anyway. Let's look again at this scale. Yeah, probably the mapping should be different. Let's ask to use different mapping. We'll see if it helps. Okay, so specified for me. Let's help it. So resilient, it will be 30. Adequate, 7, and vulnerable, for example, 0. Okay, so now it's close to what we have in Excel. So this vulnerable means that we are below 7. This adequate means that we are between 7 and 30. Probably it's like this, so I execute it. I see this data was applied, but what I want to see here in the platform is a possibility to see these thresholds, resilient, adequate, vulnerable, and I don't see them. How to do this? What we can do, we can create a new measurement unit. To do this, I go here, I click Add, and create a custom measurement unit. And I say that if it's vulnerable, it will be 0. If it is adequate, it will be 7. And if it's resilient, it will be 30. 7 was not applied. And this will be 30. This setting, I will just keep it here so that if some value is between these, like if some value is 6, so it's below adequate, but more than vulnerable, it will be still vulnerable. So let's see if apply this to this. Let's see how it was applied. So what I see now is that current is vulnerable. That's what we see here. Current value is 0 and target is 7, so it's supposed to be adequate. Yeah. So the values were interpreted this way. And actually, if I change this to resilient, for example, this was changed to 30. So that's how I can do it from the this selector. But what if I put here like 3? It's still on this scale. When I get to 6, it will be still vulnerable. And only if I get to the 7, it will switch to adequate. Okay, so that was the interesting part in this important case. To summarize, this structure was imported without problems. This was imported with measurement units. They were assigned properly. The optimization was changed to minimization without any issue. And for this, yeah, we had to work on this. We had to work on this and ask AI to just make sure that everything is run smoothly. So in the end, let's try if we can ask AI update all KPIs to be updated monthly, remove move current value from the end of 2026 to July 2026. Let's see if it will respond to this simple query. In what way? So what it suggests me to do, it suggests me to update intervals, did it, and to change the values, delete the end of year value and move it to July. So now it's perfectly fine, as it's supposed to be imported according to what client asked us about. That's all for this case. I expect to have more cases soon. So if you like this idea of reviewing the interesting cases of moving your strategy from spreadsheet to BSC Designer, just mention in comments if you have some challenges, or contact us with your case. We'll try to help. Thank you.